EDU 503 Sports Law Self-Audit for Title IX. This week we were asked to do a self-audit for Title IX of a college or high school. I chose to do the Central Christian College of Kansas, is where currently I'm employed. To do this self-audit, first thing I want to do is make sure that we're familiar with Title IX, what it is, and what the three tests that we have for institutions to do to make sure that we comply with Title IX. So first, Title IX of the Education Amendments is a federal statute. The statute was put into place by President Richard Nixon on June 23rd, 1972. The statute was created to create a more equal opportunity for both sexes in the educational institutions that are federally funded. The actual statute reads as followed: no person in the United States shall, on basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. The statute not only covers the education department, like it says, activities, it also covers school athletic programs, and this part of the Title IX was actually added on July 21st, 1975 by Gerald Ford. So that's kind of a little background of what Title IX is. So the three tests that we are given to make sure our schools comply with Title IX, and out of these three-pronged tests, your school must use one of these tests and pass one of these tests to comply with Title IX. Prong one of the three-test system for testing Title IX. Number one is substantial proportionality. Sorry about that. The student body will be measured between percentage of male and versus female students. Then that percentage of male and female students needs to be approximately the same percentage of athletes. So what this is if you have, for example, 50% male athletes, or 50% student athletes, or student body that is male, and 50% of your student body is female, your student athlete percentages need to be 50 and 50, very similar to that. So prong number two is history of and continuing practice. This prong is, the assessment is that the school has shown continuously shown that they are looking to expand the women's sports offerings in the nearest history. So they have to continue showing that they are planning to add women's sports and offer sports to the female student body. Prong three is full and effective accommodations. This is when the school will have to show that the athletic interests and abilities of the institution's female student body has been accommodated. So this one is very similar to the one above, but this one kind of gives the student body a little bit more of a voice. Students can kind of vote. Female students can vote on kind of what sports they want the school to add, and the school has to comply to that. And for this prong, they have to show that they are doing that. So now back to the self-audit of Central Christian College of Kansas. I decided to use prong one to test the assessment of Title IX compliance of Central Christian College of Kansas. And while performing the self-audit, I did use the self-audit forms from the LTC 506 resource on Moodle. This was a huge help in the process. So I'll kind of go through this step by step. After looking at the form to see what future steps were, I decided to gather the data by going to our registrar's office here on campus and asked her to see if she could help provide the number of our total enrollment on campus and the total number of female student on campus, and our total enrollment for Central Christian College in Kansas is 315 students total, and out of that 315 students, 141 of those students are females. So then go to the form, and the first step on the form was again to find the percentage of female enrollment. The female enrollment percentage was 44%. Then the next step was to find the unduplicated female participation rate at our school, and then divide that by the total number of student athletes that participate in one or more sports. The total number of unduplicated female participation is 81, and then the total number of student athletes that participate in one or more sports is 207. That makes the unduplicated female athletes percent rate about 39%. Then the next step is to find the duplicated female participation rate, and then divide that number by the total number of student athletes at our school. Our total number of duplicated female athletes is 103, and the total number of student athletes, males and females, is 240. And then our total percent of duplicated females is 43%. The last two steps is finding the variance of the unduplicated and duplicated participation. And on this, to start with the unduplicated, you have to take the female percentage, total female percentage of 44%, and you need to minus the unduplicated female percentage, which was 39%, like I explained above, and that gives us a 5% variance of unduplicated female participation. Then the duplicated variance is very similar. It's founded by subtracting the duplicated female participation rate of 43% by the total number participation of females, which is again 44%, and that brings our duplicated participation variance to 1%. So looking at the worksheet, doing all the computing to get the percentages, it is found that Central Christian College is in compliance with Title IX using prong 1, but it also shows that 5% variance is kind of the top percent. We actually want to be 5% or less in variance on both of them. Obviously, unduplicated, we're right at the 5% mark. Duplicated, we're at 1%. So duplicated seem to be looking pretty good, but we are kind of in a red flag area with the unduplicated participation. So kind of as an athletic director, I think the next step would be is to just double check that we do comply. So I would, select another prong, preferably probably prong 2, to run our athletic program through that prong, just to kind of double check and make sure that we are in compliance with Title IX, and that we don't have a chance or possible lawsuit for Title IX. During my self-audit for Title IX, I did come across some complications. I think one is always trying to get accurate information, accurate data, to make sure that we are doing the test correctly. That's obviously always a complication, I think, at most smaller schools. But the other one was just kind of really understanding the terminology, trying to figure out, what they're looking for in the formula to make sure we get the right percentage. And again, Title IX is a very serious thing. We want to as athletic administrators, want to make sure that we take very serious, make sure that our school complies, and we give equal opportunities to both males and females in the classroom and on the field.